We back like we never left. Hey, and for those on the live feed, you know we never left because you catching on the inside, outside, and in between. We outside the box once again. You know, there is no one host of this. The community is the host of this show. I just talk a lot. Okay. But yeah, we touching bases on this gang documentation, and we can't really talk about this gang documentation without talking about these other people. You know, I'm actually on the Citizens Advisory Board on Police and Community Relations. I just wanted to add that because the homies, they was on board, so I wanted to be on the board too. But I am actually on that board for the city. You know, and honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth. There's been several times I just wanted to leave where I didn't feel like nothing was gonna get done and they ain't doing nothing. I felt this way. You know what I mean? They might kick me off for saying that. I don't care. But I was gonna leave, and then recently, the day I was about to leave, that next meeting, I'm like, I'm out of here. I seen that's when I seen the whistleblower come on the news talking about them targeting the people, and he was blowing. I'm like, man, I can't leave, and we can't leave. Because think about it, how many homies do you really know that's out here active, going to meetings like you, Alonzo, that's going and raising their voices? The homies not, you know? And a lot of homies don't even think they have a voice, and they can say anything, and they can make any changes. So it's like imperative that we keep doing what we're doing, regardless of who's there which, you know what I mean? And like recently had a case come off my way by a bro, like he knows me in the mix, and I brought it to your attention, Aaron, and he's just talking about this GSU, this gang, this, what they call the gang suppression unit. Gang oppression unit. Okay, that's the highest funded task force in the SDPD. Last year, 2017, San Diego had one gang-related homicide. Gang crime is at an all-time low. Yet the GSU is still operating as if they're at war. They're pulling over people. You just got pulled over recently, okay? But yeah, so there's places in San Diego that are complaining about not having enough police. We're in the Southeast complaining about having too much. And they're pulling up 2, 3, 4 cars. If you look like a gang member, I've seen them. I've been right there on the front line where they running through homies' pockets. Didn't do nothing, but you were a documented gang member. So now your rights are gone. Now you're a runaway slave, and they have the right to search you. They have the right to question you. You know, in front of your kids, in front of the community that you. This one individual just came from a community peace event, and GSU was like waiting in the trench, waiting on the sideline just to come get him. You know what I mean? So these type of things happen every day. I've seen them with my own self, and I can only imagine countless times it doesn't happen. The homie Birdie Bird, he coming out of Bay Vista, he with his daughter, they come, you know, he wouldn't show ID, had no reason to. He's coming from his family house. I'm walking to my car, I say what's up to my homies. Totally legit dude, square dude, the homie, cool. But now they hemming him up with his daughter right there, putting that impression. They wonder why people don't like the police as they grow up. Because I've been seeing this my whole life. How about that? How about the traumatization of that? Post-traumatic street disorder, you know what I mean? So, yeah, the surveillance is real. It's like nonstop, and people know about it. You know, we got this facial recognition. They are online watching you. You know, your Facebook is not free. Your Snapchat, I know it erases after 24 hours, but please believe it didn't erase in their book. They own you. You know, it's countless ways, man. I know in the Valley, before that big indictment that went down out there, they was popping up with these fake trees. You know, look like a palm tree, but really it's a surveillance device, you know, and not to mention the human surveillance devices they have in there that call themselves your friend. You know, what's up, homie? Yeah, I think in your case, there was somebody walking around with a chain. I seen in the paperwork, he had a chain on hanging with you, but it's a camera. You know what I mean? 17, 18-year-old cameraman. You know what I mean? And then, y'all, hey, and for y'all that are being recorded, y'all surveillancing yourself and don't realize it. You ain't even knowing. You're telling on yourself. They're watching all your stuff. Just be careful out there, please. Yeah. Anybody have any
Yeah, so the cold part about like that whole situation is, you know, growing up and whatnot, and the police used to come through, the gang units used to come through, not just regular police.
Gang unit.
Like the cowboys or something, right? Is the way they operate in our communities is like some occupying force, right? You know what I mean? They rolling teams, right? Remember, we got names for them, right? The no fin killer whales, right? Because they don't have the headlights, they don't have the lights at the top of the car. No fin killer whales, or the 9 gang, because all of them got 9s on their cars, you know. And they rolling in packs, and it's blatant, just. It's terrorism.
It's
right,
terrorism,
right?
man.
They jump out the cars, but one thing that always stuck out to me the most, right, was the bartering deals that they always make, right? get up against the wall, let us search you, and let you go. Oh, by the way, take this picture. Right?
Let us get your DNA.
Let it, yeah,
Hey,
right.
parents, stop, tell your kids they do not have to have their picture taken.
Right.
Because they're getting them 15, 16-year-olds to get their picture taken, and they so scared and shook up that they just do it. I did it. I did it. Lift your shirt up. Lift your shirt up. I didn't do nothing.
They got us
You ain't questioning them.
They got us so cold when I was younger and stuff. What they would do was, you had the regular little cameras like the Polaroid ones when the pictures come out. So we were all taking pictures, throwing up gang signs, thinking that, you know, this is cool. And they're giving us all these pictures, and we're not knowing that they're keeping a dub of that copy right there in the camera. So this was regular Tuesdays, Thursdays, coming through the coast.
Vice days?
33rd Vice days. You already know what's going on, right? And they're just rolling through. And it took me years to catch on that this is what they're doing. They're trying to egg you on. Oh, it's okay. Here, we're going to take these pictures for you. Take this home with you. And the whole time, they're just sitting up there building a portfolio.
Not to sidetrack too much, but as you were talking about occupying force. That's how they are. They have informants in the community. I couldn't help but think. I mean, I'm American. I'm originally Palestinian, but I'm Arab. You were talking when we went to the break about Linda Sarsour, who works in Brooklyn, and with a lot of immigrant communities focuses on the Muslims. But it's the same thing. For example, in Palestine, it's this idea of the power dynamics. You know, you don't know what you have to do and what you don't have to do, but they take advantage of the power dynamics, and it is an occupying force.
Straight up. Straight up. It's not community policing. They're definitely not looked at as friendly. It's an occupying force, and we feel that way. And then it don't happen to go and travel to different communities in San Diego, and you see an obvious difference. This doesn't happen in Claremont. This doesn't happen in PB. You know what I mean? You see these things, and like, why us? So there is no raising of consciousness and being better as a people in a community when you feel like you're in jail just walking outside your house. And I can't do certain things. I have to turn my hat straight when I'm driving. I have to sit up. Well, why do I have to live by a different set of rules than the next person?
Exactly, and the thing that I'm always fascinated by, and that's what I'd love to talk to you about later, but also just hearing you guys, is the psychological occupation. Because all those questions you are asking in Palestine, it's the same thing. It's like, part of it is, you know, the physical occupation. There it's a bit different, but there it's the army that is using all these tools, facial recognition, and they have the right to do so because of the occupation itself. But here, even if it's the police, they're using military weapons. I mean, you know, militarized.
They look like they're the military to us. They just have on a different uniform.
My house in military, bulletproof vests, big fat guns, all that. Kids in the house and everything. That's military stuff. That's a SWAT raid. For a probation check.
For a probation check.
Right.
Can you just imagine what it does to the community though when you got a Christian older woman going to church, and then they got me on the side of the road because I ain't got a license, but you got the gang in the 10 cop cars. So what does that say to the community? Oh, he must have did something wrong, or he must have, or he must have, or he must have. So they know exactly what they're doing to the community. You know, you're giving a fake sign to the community that these young black men who are outside walking around in the neighborhood are doing bad things.
Suspect.
Which in reality is the police who is doing the bad things. You know, it's just terrorism itself, man. And then especially folks who aren't aware of their rights. Like you were saying with the pictures, I remember taking my first picture. I was 16 years old, and I didn't have no license, but he knew that. So, you want me to show your car? Just let me take this picture for sure. Go ahead. I'm trying to get a whooping. I want to get in trouble for getting this car. Yeah, take your picture, right? Take two. Not knowing that 10 years down the road, I finally found out what gang enhancements were, what gang documentation was. But now, instead of doing a year in county jail, you're doing 10 or 15 years because of a gang enhancement. So it's like, it's crazy.
I wanted to quickly ask about facial recognition. Just what do you know about how it plays out here? Because we've heard that like DMVs across the country are giving their databases to law enforcement. We know that mistaken facial recognition software and matches is potentially sending innocent people to jail. How much awareness is there in this community about how that technology is being used? And like you said, some people say that the draft policy said they don't need your consent to take the picture, or they do need your consent. Do you know? Is there clarity around any of that?
There's no clarity to their tactics at all. It's not like they're holding seminars or sending public service announcements to the schools. They are not. They're not informing you of nothing. Like I was telling my young bro over here, it is literally they're paid and they clock in, and their job is to capture you, to arrest you, to surveillance you. They're paid to do that. So, 9 to 5. When he clocks off at 5 o'clock, someone else is clocking in. It's a 24-hour job. It's not our job at all to learn or to avoid them. So we don't know any of this stuff. We're too busy trying to pay rent.
But when they stop you, they don't tell you
they don't tell
why
you
or what the lights are. They don't.
It's take this picture
or
taking you to jail.
Right.
Either way, I'm gonna take this picture.
Let me search your car. Not even let me. I'm going to search the car.
They're not asking to search cars.
Right.
We're going to search your car.
So then you feel like you have less rights in that context than someone else who gets stopped?
Not even less rights.
We don't
I
know.
don't really feel like I don't think I've ever felt like I've had rights.
Had rights.
For real?
Yeah, like
Since as little as I can remember, as young as I can remember, I've never felt like equal. I faced this maybe like last year, 2 years ago. I've never felt that I was American.
Yeah.
If someone ever asked me what an American was and showed me pictures, I would never pick nobody that looked like me. That's psychological from a kid.
That's what
so
I'm
that
saying.
means I don't have the same rights as America. All these things stem off of that psychologically.
Yeah.
And you don't believe in yourself and wonder why this same cycle keeps happening because we don't even believe we can do anything else.
And whether it's
that's them, not us.
And whether it's intentional or not, like there's a dehumanization that's happening. Right?
100%.
Because psychologically, like even back home in Palestine, I hate to keep drawing.
It's the same thing. Go
correlations,
ahead.
but the truth
That's a big comparison right
is,
there.
when
That's
I
a
meet with
double
people, whether it's Black Lives Matter, advocates, it's the same playbook. It's this idea of psychological damage. They try to isolate you, even like you were talking about the community, try to raise suspicion, so then you grow up feeling like you're less than, or there's no hope for you to be an American with equal rights, or there's no hope, and that's how they keep you
suppressed.
Right.
I mean, just look at the criteria. I can't wait till folks really start bringing this up on how unconstitutional it is. I mean, I didn't write the Constitution. I understand that it wasn't for me.
So what's the criteria? What's the criteria?
Some of the criteria is growing up in gang area, right? Gang areas, black and brown communities, right? So we can't help but grow up. Where my grandma's been living on Logan since 1970, right? So I grew up in that community. Gang dress. This is gang dress. You got your hat to the back, that's gang dress. You're wearing certain colors, that's gang dress. Association. I don't even have the freedom to associate. So all those criteria, it's 9 criteria, and everything on here is unconstitutional, but yet we're a democracy, right? We're supposed to be living by the Constitution, but black and brown folks aren't. We don't have those rights. So why is there even a criteria? And it's not, once again, it's not illegal to be a gang member just as much as it's not illegal to be Ku Klux Klan, or it's not illegal to be Hells Angels or Mongols or any other gang, but it's illegal to be black and brown.
So why then do they police it so much more than other groups? I mean, even the FBI says that there's a threat posed by white supremacists or KKK.
But they're not on them like they're on us.
Yeah, and
they're not doing it in their area.
Why is that?
It's easier to lock up a person who is a documented gang member. See, those are hate crimes. Those are hate groups, right? It's pretty much hard to convict a person of a hate crime unless you literally heard them say, you know what, I did this because he was black, because he was Muslim, because there's a criteria for us. They go to court and say, you know what, he fit this criteria, so therefore he's a gang member, so therefore we can have these in gang. That's easy. Everybody fits the criteria. You can't combat that.
But it's against your civil rights.
It's totally against our rights. But I mean, we've been fighting. Again, we've been doing that before time.
It all comes back around to suppression too. At the same time, for whatever reason, you're targeting black and brown people, the culture, all the way around in general, and it's just a form of suppression. For what? Probably 50 or 60 different reasons why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We could probably talk about that all day long, but who knows? Who can really tap all the way in with just one thing for sure? It's suppression for a specific reason.
But like you go after the most like marginalized, right? The least represented, the underrepresented, right? So what this whole suppression does, right? So like what you were just saying, Alonzo, if I'm pulled over and it's 10 cars, but I've done nothing. But people who are driving by don't know that. Now what you've done
you just killed somebody.
Is you ostracized me from my community.
Reinforce that, these guys are no good.
As the police are right.
So now
police are right.
You got that vote. Now you got that vote.
I've made a division with this young man or woman in his community, his or her community. So now whenever you do go and incarcerate 33 young black men and say that we know they didn't commit these crimes, but they're gang members, nobody's going to come to the defense because you've already done the ostracism through the suppression tactics.
It's like guilt by association.
Exactly, right? So who's going to come to the defense of an individual that you're calling a terrorist?
And the new term that they're using also on the side of that, I'm going to later is human sex trafficking.
Yes.
Human sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Now, pimp,
Yeah.
minor. There are key words that are being thrown out there, and you just stop. You'll never look into the situation. Because as soon as I hear human sex trafficking, minor, they'll lock them up. You have no idea. That is the new hit. That is the new target. And I'm watching. I'm very in tune with this. I'm like this today. I'm on my LinkedIn, just watching across the nation. I'm tuned in with all these human sex trafficking advocates, and they are like applying this black men across this nation that are going under. You'll never even look into their situation. It's cases after cases after cases. There's mass indictments where they putting. As soon as they put that label on there, gang, human sex trafficker, whatever. Their indictments might be 20 people. Might have been 2 people that even somewhat were pimping in there. You know, you hear the word minor, not knowing, so it was a minor with a minor, you know, but you don't hear these things. But as soon as you hear these key words, like you said, you've automatically been ostracized, and they will not even look into the situation.
You know, you have to also keep in mind, you know, San Diego, we've been through all the motions in terms of, you know, when it comes to pimping and things like that. And a lot of individuals, that's their hustle. You got the turn point boyfriend pimping. You might not even really be pimping. Right. Your girl is just like, this is my means of making money, and I like to do this, and you happen to be her boyfriend, and they're going to say, sex trafficking, and you're doing this and that. And a lot of the time, especially here in San Diego, that's what individuals turn to when there's nothing else to do. Yeah. And then next thing you know, you put them together and lump them together, and bam, it's free for life.
And then don't say gangs and human sex trafficking. It's over with. Double negatives. Get them out of here, lock them up forever. That's all you're thinking. Not even looking into the case or knowing what the situation was or the facts. You don't even care. Terrorists, gang members, human sex trafficking. Lock them up. Get rid of them. Straight up.
Buzzwords. Get psychoactive, and you just like, oh, to hell with them.
To hell with them. That's them.
And you continue to divide and conquer with the community.
And it's been working. But that's why, once again, I keep pointing to, that's why it's important for us and the next generation, because my hair getting grayer. I know you see it over there, you was laughing earlier. It's important for us to raise up that next generation, to keep this going, because hopefully eventually we put a big dent in this whole situation. And because as we talking, it's never been a clean slate for black people and police. Never. Their inception was to capture slaves, to protect slave owners' property. So it's never been an okay ground. People are like, how come we just can't have good police-community relations? It's never been that. And it's not our job to make that happen. You know what I mean? We were raised from kids watching being terrorized. So that's not our job. That's not our job. Our job is to help our people and to help the people in the communities that's being attacked. So.
And it's not community. I mean, Aaron always often uses this thing where he talks about growing up, right? A lot of kids want to be officers. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a police officer. You know, wear them to the cars, get the stickers, right? But where and what happened in their life where all of a sudden they decide it changes. Yeah. Now I'm going to be a paramedic or a firefighter. Yeah. I want to go save people. So it's like I ask those questions. What happened in that kid's life? You don't got parents running around here saying,
you ain't a 3-year-old cute little nigga no more. Now you older. Now you ready for this jail cell we got for you. I hope that school treated you right. That you was that wasn't teaching you right. I hope that your in-school suspension was getting you ready for this.
And if you grow up in one of these communities, it's only a matter of time, probably not that much time, till you realize that you are a target implicitly, even if you're 6.
But then you're in the back seat when it's happening to your dad, your older brother, your cousin. They're coming in the house like, man, the police just pulled me over. I didn't do nothing. I didn't even do nothing. You feel me? You watching. Oh, you didn't do nothing. The police did what? Police did what? Yeah. Now you're seeing it happening. So my mentality is you're the enemy. Yeah. I've never looked at them as my friend. Yeah. I remember one day I lied to my mom. The police came up to my elementary school, and I said, I told her I went on a ride with the cop. I don't know why I lied, just stupid. My mom got so mad. The police took you where? Yeah. We back up to the school. She roasted everybody on the teacher, the principal, and I'm just keeping the lie like, oh shit, I'm in this deep now. And then I told her, and I got my ass whooped. Okay? But it was that instinct, like that wasn't my mom's friend. The police, you was in a car doing what? It was on, and I'm like, oh, they're not cool. Yeah. So, man, talking about PTSD, for real. So the work is heavy, man, and you're under surveillance, and these phones is getting more craftier because they're recording everything. So these the little allow button pops, shot spotters. So we have this thing called shot spotters in our community right now. Many people aren't familiar and don't know what a shot spotter is, but they are these surveillance devices that supposedly pick up gunshots. These shot spotters are strategically placed in our community. They're not all over San Diego. You know, we have the 3rd lowest crime rate in San Diego in the southeast, but yet we have these shot spotters in our community. I'm still awaiting that audit to find out how well those work. And it's not like if I'm popping somebody or at something, I'm not sticking around till the police get here. Okay? So what really is the point of this? You know what I mean? So, and these devices are millions of dollars that could be going to intervention and helping kids not even go that route, but rather it's another way to capture people. You know.
But when you say capture, sorry, I don't want to bring it back to facial recognition, but I'm curious. Do you guys understand, or has it been explained, why that multi-million-dollar technology has to be put to use here in San Diego? Like, what's the benefit
Of the
facial recognition? No,
I know that like for things like that, well, they have quotas to keep up with, like, you know, like SDP or whatever. So, like, say they lock up so many people for a certain thing, the feds, they give them funding. So what they probably did was they did something, they got the funding, so they got this new technology. That's how they get tanks, and that's how they get all this military equipment, because they're getting funded by the feds for keeping up whatever they're doing, quotas, whatever, their rest. So that's most likely how they got things like that.
And San Diego is it's always been the yeah, exactly. Right. So it's a very conservative town, right? Very conservative city, and it's like you said, it's always been like the place where they test everything. I think that's probably why they tested our case with Penal Code 192.5, right? The first in the state of California that everybody used, because everything just goes with the flow. Right. Nobody, it's not really much attention. You do certain things in LA, the Bay,
New York,
they're gonna burn the place down. Right. You know what
That's
I mean?
Yeah.
San Diego,
you get away with it.
America's finest city.
Right. You don't get too much.
Our population is only 30 of us total. You know.
And
It's
this is
like,
a military. What is it? There's 5-6 military bases in San Diego,
Right.
or something like that.
That's what it is.
So this is a military town.
So it's easy to transfer these skills, these technologies.
they don't expect us to stand up. They
And a
don't.
lot of our officers are ex-military.
Right.
So
And not from here.
The training never stops, right? It's the same training, and I think the facial recognition comes from one, test pilot, right? It's just a pilot. Two, you gotta think what the black population is less than 5.6%,
Right.
or something like that. It's like 158,000 people, and like 3 million people in this county, or whatever number that is, right? So even though crime is dropping tremendously, right, and it's been dropping for the past 50 years or something like that, right? This facial recognition software that they're using, I don't think it's ever really meant for us, so to say. We're just pawns in a larger thing. You test it out here,
And then use it.
Well,
Just so you know, I don't want to get too knee deep in stats, but the reason I asked is 26 San Diego law enforcement agencies used facial recognition software on more than 20,600 occasions between January and February. Just 33 days. So 20,600 occasions in an effort to identify people. But despite how rampant the use was, police officers said they could only successfully find a match to criminal records, because that's why they say they use it, 25% of the time.
So they're just collecting data.
Yeah.
They're just collecting data. That's what the police are, a data collection agency.
So it's Facebook. No.
It's no. Fedbook, it is.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fedbook, Instasham, that's all them. They so we know it. Just be aware of what you're putting online.
Yeah.
Too, because please believe you are writing on Fedbook right now.
Right.
Yes.
And our entire culture is criminalized to begin with anyway, so once they start surveillancing you, then
It's easy to find the
it's open
crime.
season, yeah.
and it's assumed criminality, right? So a lot of their defense is, well, you know, we do intakes, FI cards, things like that, facial recognition, take the pictures. So if or when
You commit a crime.
exactly
Right. We already
so
got you.
if or when we already have a profile bill. So what you're doing is it's a deficient model, right?
But it's not even accurate.
at all.
I mean, they say like one. I don't want to get too into it, but
Please do.
they
'Cause
say
we're not hearing this nowhere else.
All right,
Get into
let's
it.
let's
Get into it.
No, but
I
it's,
want it all.
they say it's 95%. This thing face first. I don't know if you know. It's one of the companies basically. They say it's 95% accurate in terms of the ID rate. But first of all, those stats are completely wrong and they're old. What happens is sometimes it's 80% accurate, or even less than 80%. I mean, you saw the one I said earlier. They could only find 25% of the criminal record. And this software, for better or worse, for example, black women, it can't read them with accuracy for whatever reason. I don't know who built the tool, you know, what they're tested, but you know, the darker complexion, especially women, but in general, is less accurate. And then if they're using them in communities like this, while they're policing communities of color, it just raises question mark after question mark about how accurate it is, to me.
And the fact that this information is not commonly out there, so we wouldn't even know how to challenge this. We
Right.
would not be, if a case came up and they used facial recognition,
You could-
we wouldn't even be prepared to challenge that right now. We'd have to call Aaron and have him research it, and then believe everything the homie said, and then go after it. But nah, seriously though, we wouldn't even be prepared for
Right.
this. And this is how these attacks come, because they've probably been working on this
Well,
and using this for a long time.
you're saying
We're
you're-
just finding
trying
out.
to work the kinks out right now.
You're saying you're not prepared for it, and yet they've used 30,000 times in 30 days.
And then you think
That's a lot
too,
of-
they're also placing your facial recognition. Facial recognizing you, they're with the homies too. So now they already placed you together. We say,
Yeah.
I don't even know that dude. Oh yeah. And then is this
Yeah.
facial recognition on video also?
Yeah.
Are they watching YouTube
Even-
videos
even-
of fights and things like that and putting people together? Oh, and just storing that?
Stadiums, CCTV cameras, like those palm trees you guys were talking about, presumably, I don't know this for a fact, but that could all be applied. So you don't even know that
How
you're
many
being-
different databases are you running it through? So the feds
Exactly,
have access to
exactly.
this, CIA.
You have driver's license, you're in the system.
You're in the
Yeah,
system.
most definitely.
So that's the
You're in
first
there.
level of entry. But then there's a million other places when you get stopped or arrested, and you know, then people are like, well, why'd you get stopped? Well, everyone gets
Everything
stopped.
facial recognition too right now. I'm watching people unlocking their phone like this now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you can unlock your phone with your eyes. Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
scary.
And that what that does though is, in my mind, for the iPhone 10 for example, it like maps 30,000 nodes on your face, and there's all this technology that they boast for the product. People go buy this technology and they use it every day, but they don't think about how else this stuff is being used. And so what it does is it makes people just kind of accustomed.
Like,
to
you're used to it. You're used to it. It's
I use it
nothing.
from my
Started-
phone. and-
Yeah.
It started with your fingerprint though, with Apple
Bruh.
too.
Yeah, biometrics.
I was
It's
at
just
I was at First Saturday yesterday, and I'm just recording live. Khalid walks by fast.
Would you like to
Would you
tag
like
him?
to tag Khalid Ali? I'm like,
Oh,
he
man.
just walked by. He didn't even say hi. He didn't see me.
You're kidding.
Like that fast. I'm just posted on a tripod live. He walks by. Like to tag Khalid Alexander.
Just imagine that type of
That
technology.
the
the
police.
feds
Well,
have
If
everything.
they're
That's on
giving
Facebook?
But Facebook says everyone opted in, or a lot of them, they say you had to opt in to be.
yeah, it's on all the words that nobody reads, and you hurry up and scroll down to accept.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not about to read this. Yes, whatever. Yes, just let me see what Whoop-De was doing right
Place
now.
your phone between the hours of 2 and 4. Can
I'm-
make the count.
yeah, right. Upgrade.
What's
Yeah, I'm gonna
happening?
update right
What's
now.
this upgrade mean?
And just hurry up. I'm trying to see this ass on Instagram right now. Get this out the way.
Yeah. Are things getting worse?
In what way?
I think technology-wise it is. For
Well,
sure.
yeah, that too. But I just
Our
mean
community's getting better.
no,
Yeah.
not the community. I mean how you feel in terms of relationship with the police's
We ain't got one.
kind of transparency.
I think I always say our relationship is it's like a domestic violence relationship, right? And we the ones getting our ass whooped. And while people are trying to mend and bridge, we are trying. I don't want to be in this relationship.
Yeah.
Like why? We shouldn't have to know. I know police officers by name, not because it was like, hey, how you doing, Aaron? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just because of the way they're in our community so much that you tend to know. There's no such thing as undercover anymore,
Yeah.
right?
Those are the homies.
Yeah, right. We know
That's the
that,
hump.
right? We yeah. So the thing is we're in a domestic violent relationship that we're trying to remove ourselves from. Right? In the sense of like, we'll call you when we need you.
Well, that's the hardest relationship to remove yourself from.
Exactly.
One where there's, you know, the
Yeah.
power dynamic.
And you can't just go and divorce these people.
Right.
You can't just get up and leave.
Yeah.
So
God forbid.
So in the difference in the domestic violence relationship and the relationship we have with the police is we gotta kind of work. Some of us, I know some of the homies is like, nah, I ain't working with them, not working with them, not working for them, but we have to deal with them. Because if right now, I was just saying, if we weren't dealing with them, they would just come full-fledged blasting right now.
Yeah.
If that 182.5 stand-up didn't happen, there'd be like 3 more right now.
The one thing that I learned when I was a case manager working with youth is that when it comes to anything that has to do with social work, law enforcement has to sit at the table, one way or the other. You're gonna have to interact with them and come across their path when you're trying to get anything done. And a lot of times we don't like to deal with them or work with them. We would rather not, just based off of the relationship.
Yeah.
But when you're actually doing real work and getting things done, they're gonna be there in one way, shape, fashion, or form, one way or the other.
And then folks that represent the communities that are being oppressed, right? You gotta. There's one thing to have to, like you were saying, you gotta work with them. You're on the gang commission, you're on certain commissions. Understand that you gotta work with them. But those folks that are representing the oppressed have a voice. But folks have to understand that we're not here to shake hands with you and say, you know what, you're right. The community is right. We know what we want. We know what y'all need to be doing. We know what. So our voice only matters to me, in my opinion, to a certain aspect, like clergy and certain folks that the police chiefs take pictures with, right? Those folks have to understand that the community is looking at you like, hold on, demands aren't still being met.
Basic, yeah.
There's no way in the world that Aaron had to go to jail, which I'm glad he did, for the community to stand up and say, you know what? Why are they doing these young black men like this? We've been going through this before time.
Admitting that we know that he didn't commit the crime and he wasn't there, but since he's affiliated with this gang, then lock him up.
So I think folks have to understand what that relationship even means.
Yeah.
Like, a relationship is not kumbaya. The relationship is y'all in our community, y'all pressing us. This is what we want. This is what we demand. And if those demands are met, then we finna be in the streets yelling. We're upset. It's not. We hate cops. We hate what you guys stand for.
Yeah.
We hate the racist institution that you guys stand for. And it's been proven, statistically have been proven, that gang documentation is racist. So don't be mad that the community is mad that you guys are profiling us.
Right.
It's proven. It's unconstitutional for you to sit here and say that I can't wear a red hat. So I think you got folks like us that are fighting, young folks in the streets that are fighting against this racist institution. We need boards. We need clergy. We need folks that are just typical folks, citizens next door to me, to stand up and say, you know what these young folks are doing is right. And I think for the movement to really work powerfully, we all need to congregate together no matter what neighborhood you're from and really look at what's right and what's wrong. Because you can't, as a police officer, you can't come into my community and say, this is what we're gonna do for y'all and this is what needs to happen. We're always gonna be resistant. We're always gonna do this. We're always gonna butt heads.
Especially with the history.
Right.
If it
It
was
never
just
was a
new
clean
slate.
slate.
Yeah, I feel you.
And
That
that's,
makes sense.
I would like to see a public records act request more done on the demographics of those 33,000 people.
Right.
Right. You know what I mean? Like who are you doing? Not
Who
just
are
you,
you? And
not
where?
just you did it.
Where?
Who and where?
Yeah, who and where?
Right.
We need to know that.
And why? Were these what were these stops? Were these traffic stops? Or were these like
Was your car just parked?
crimes being taken place?
I know
Is
the
that
Charlie cops did it.
Right. No, for 30,000 facial recognition.
All right, check this out. We got 5 minutes left. We're gonna call this 5-minute chop up real quick. You got 1 minute on the mic. Spill it your whole minute. You know what I mean? Coming about to start right now. Easy. We just give us your information and game on this issue we've been talking about, and you on. Get it ready. Hey, no, you ain't come fast, man. From the hip to the lip. You ain't ready?
Just watch out for the police. Really. That's all
Go
I
ahead.
gotta say. Know
No,
your
I
rights.
got your minute.
Know your rights. Watch out for the police. You know, thank God there's people like these brothers right here, man. One time I got pulled over, Aaron, I swear to God, I knew he was coming. Oh, God, I was like, Aaron's gonna pull up. He's gonna pull up. He pulled up. They was holding me. I know they was holding me till the feds came. I'm on federal probation. They can't do nothing, so they had to have the feds come. But once Aaron pulled up, you pulled up, I pulled up, it was a wrap. They're like, oh, you could go. Here goes your ID. No ticket, no nothing. I knew my rights. They know their rights. We all know our rights. So know your rights. You educate yourself. That way they don't oppress you. Well, I mean, they gonna oppress you. That way they don't take advantage of you. If you know your rights, put everything on camera. Everything on camera, and you can prove what they did wrong. So put everything on camera. Educate yourself on the rights. Everything will be all right.
Lonzo.
Oh,
Mini
man.
chop down.
What he said, and all of that. But man, I just want community to understand and to know that, you know, the word gang members, these are your family members. These are your community members. These are folks that are fighting against this gang documentation. I mean, according to the criteria, we're all gang members. So if that's what you want to call me, so what? You know what I mean? So call me that. But at the same time, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. So I'm calling out folks, church folks. I'm calling out folks who was on board. I'm calling out folks who ain't standing with brothers like DeAndre and Armand and Aaron and this brother here that we need y'all. You know what I'm saying? We need y'all, man. We need y'all. We need to don't just take pictures with the police. We need y'all to take pictures with us. With whatever color we got on. That's what we need. We need community to kind of like stand up against. That's the only way it's gonna work. I'm tired of Aaron and Brother Brooks and small little organizations standing up against the police by themselves. You know, we need church folks. We need those clergy members that got community support to support us as well. You know, we don't have to go to church to get that support. So that's what I'm calling out. I'm calling out those type of folks to kind of stand with Brother Aaron and Brother Brooks on certain things that need to be done.
Brother Brooks, chop down.
For sure, man. I'm gonna go on the switch pace real quick and just say big shout out to Assemblywoman Dr. Shirley Weber on Assembly Bill 931. Vote yes on that thing right there. That's a precedent that just got set. One way or the other, win, lose, and draw. She let it be known that we are no longer going to continue to stand for the unlawful deaths of our young black men. And I just want everybody to go ahead and support that bill, Assembly Bill 931.
What is it? One more time. Assembly bill?
Yeah, Assembly Bill 931.
When can they vote for it?
I don't know yet. No. So it's the Assembly bill. So it has to go through. Gotta go through the Assembly, go through the Senate, go back to the Assembly, and hit the floors, and then the governor has to sign it. But what we can do as citizens and whatnot is you can call your state representatives, right? So find out what district you're in, right? Find out who's your senator, find out who your city is, and you can call in and say, hey, I am a constituent of yours. I live in your district. I need you to vote yes on Assembly Bill 931. Assembly Bill 931 I haven't read it in totality, but I think it's changing. I think police officers can use deadly force.
That's our last
if
resort.
if an officer, as of now, if another reasonable officer would have done the same, or something like that. What it does now is it pushes the bar higher to say that they can only use deadly force or necessary force or something like that.
They have to try to de-escalate the situation and go through different.
It's a number of steps they have to take now before they can just pull out their gun and start shooting. It's a step in the right direction. Like you said, win, lose, or draw. It's a step in the right. But call your senators, call your assembly members, find out who they are, and say we need you to vote yes on this, or we're gonna vote you out.
Hey man, we up out of here though. Outside the box one more time. We're not accepting the boxes you've been putting us in for our entire life, our parents' lives, our grandparents' lives, and probably far beyond that. Hey, educate yourself, educate your children, and start standing up and quit being a keyboard activist, please. You know what I mean? There's times you don't have to talk all the time. As you've seen, we got professional speakers right here. Sometimes we just need your body presence. Sometimes we need you to go ahead and fill in that bubble and vote. You know, everybody play your role. We're like a football team. The water boy is just as important as the person on the field. If he didn't have water, he'd be dehydrated and pass out. Cheerleader, we need cheerleaders. Sometimes it's good when you see Brother Brooks, when you see Aaron Harvey, Lonzo, when you see these brothers out there on the streets, just give them, you know, man, I appreciate what you're doing. You know, words of encouragement. Play your role. You feel me? But we outside the box one more again. Thank you, KBLK Radio. Thank you, Aljazeera, AJ Plus. You know, thank you again for being on the scene and covering this. Excuse me, I'm spitting everywhere, but you know, from the hip to the lip, we do this spit. You dig? Peace.
Like that.